play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombs Tastingo gonna find Rainer.
Hello everybody, good evening, welcome to the Nexus Gaming Series. I'm Arrow, and tonight we're going to do all kinds of fun and exciting things, but we're going to start off with a replay cast between 2Calculated2Throw and Deep Fried Ragaros. Missing the end there. Nobody knows. I don't even think they know, but that's okay. Later tonight we're going to have a couple of live matches, so at 9 o'clock we're going to have a match. At 11:30 we're going to have a match, and depending on how that 9 o'clock one goes, we might even try to sneak in a 10 o'clock one. But let's take a look at that calendar here. So upcoming at 9 o'clock tonight. Calendar doesn't... There we go. I was going to say the calendar doesn't like me. We have tonight the Die for Vision versus Illa Dancing Queen. So if you're from Division C East, as the two teams that we're about to cast are, you might want to check into that at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And then later, we're going to have a C West game between Team Rainbow Strike Go and Clouded Minds. So also another Division C, so you may want to check that out. But we are all set up and ready to go here. This is a replay cast, so we don't have to wait on teams. We just get right into it. So, no pointer from Arrogant Nephilim. Welcome, Koror. Gotta say that a little slower so that I get all the syllables there. And we don't have any delay here, so, you know, say hello and chat and do all the fun things. But let's get right into this. Just Cord. You know what, Cord? That's fine, because that's how it would have sounded if I said it faster. While I'm waiting on the game to load, let's take a look at what the maps were. So even on a replay cast, we can check out what the map history looks like. So 2Calculated2Throw banned out Cursed Hollow and Sky Temple. Deep Fried Ragaros banned out the Baraxis Holdout and Towers of Doom. And our first map that we're going to see here in just a few moments is going to be the Battlefield of Eternity. Hey, Coondog. There you go. Make sure you guys follow the channel so you can see all the fun action when it goes live. There you go. See? Perfect. And just pausing so that I can get rid of the overlays and the chats. And then we will get into this game. That way you guys don't get to see what time the game is going to be, how long it's going to take, who's going to win, those kind of things. On the left, we've got 2Calculated2Throw. Fear's going to be playing the Lunara. Jurgen Derb on the Li Ming. Galdrias playing Ana on that sad cloud. Going to be a little rain cloud there. And X Havoc on the Mal'Ganis. And Thrall on Gen Confusion. Over here on the right for Deep Fried Ragaros, we've got Proshak on Chromie. Svenla is on the Tyrande. Yep. King Andrew playing that Rainer. Jimmy. NyQuil on the Garrosh, and up in the top lane, Corndog going to be playing the Blaze. So we got a Blaze versus Thrall matchup there, and Jurgen Derb going in deep. 15 seconds on that first kill of the game. Holy cow. I almost missed it just looking at who was in the top lane. You hate to see it. Holy cow. So, all right. My guess is that that was a Garrosh throw, by the way, because that was remarkably far forward, even if you are Li Ming. Just like this here for the Ana, and that's going to be 2 kills coming out from Deep Fried Ragaros into this game. We're not even 40 seconds in, and we've already gotten 2 kills thanks to that Garrosh combination there. But what do we got talents-wise? We've got the Force Armor for Li Ming. Is going to give her the Spell Armor to help against that Chromie, but they also baked in that mana regeneration from Astral Presence. This time NyQuil throwing the Mal'Ganis in. Mal'Ganis has a little bit more health though, and so he's able to make it out. And they're gonna get some damage in and healing reduction on the Garrosh to make sure the Garrosh is having to walk away. Let's see, bottom left. That's pretty. Oh yeah, so that is part of Soothsayer. It's an aspect of the overlay setup. Now X Havoc here going a little far forward there is gonna fall. But yeah, it's part of the Soothsayer. It allows, you know, it's all manual input, so you know, I have to put it in, and it can be wrong if a team switches their players, like if they change heroes in the middle of a draft. It's based on what I input, so if I input it in too early and then they switch and I don't catch it, it can be wrong. But with the advantage here, right now, Deep Fried Ragaros a little bit ahead, about 3/4 of a level-ish, and they're going to get started on this camp. Level 4 will be coming here soon, but there's no Garrosh here, so this is a little bit dangerous, although just the Mal'Ganis and Ana here, so it looks like maybe if they can boop the Mal'Ganis off long enough. Oh, they get the throw onto Lunara, so they get the kill, but lose the camp. So probably an equal amount of XP overall for doing that, but the Ragaros are going to have to kill that siege camp down the bottom. Overall, though, probably a worth trade. Having that Lunara off the map does give them a little bit more flexibility to clear this, and pretty decently fast. So we haven't talked about almost any talents. Echo of Elements there for Thrall, so, you know, pretty standard. And Garrosh, they're throwing that siege minion over to kill it off a little bit faster. The Shaman camp going to be worked on by both teams here. A pretty heavy commitment from the side of 2Calculated2Throw. They don't have anybody in here in the bot lane, but with as far pushed up as that lane was, they weren't likely to get those globes. And that's going to be both teams leaving the bot lane here as the siege camps now officially picked up. And the rotation's coming in here. We'll see if I need to zoom out. Looks like I probably should. Try to get everybody on the page here, although it looks like no actual fighting, although Blaze is coming in by himself, and that is gonna put Blaze in the position he's got to go back most likely. He's very low. Trana's gonna heal him up here, but the halftime slightly going over in favor of 2Calculated2Throw. And here they come. Deep Fried Ragaros getting the throw onto Lunara, getting a stun as well, and so that's going to be yet another kill. 5 kills to none so far in this game in favor of the red team. And with that defense, they're going to send good old Jimmy back to work on the Immortal. Now, Jimmy taking ace in the hole, so he doesn't have that Exterminator bonus at level 1. We also have the Chromie once again the first time, so that's going to give her that extra clone, and Chromie does actually have a pretty decent amount of race, especially when she completes that. Getting an additional 40% of her Q stacks can provide a lot of value. And Jet Propulsion there getting not necessarily interrupted, but stalled by Thrall's route, and also getting a couple of other heroes there. So Garrosh getting put to sleep could be a target, but instead 2Calculated trying to burn down this Immortal. 90 points! 90 points on that shield, and NyQuil all by himself here is gonna get out of danger. I was certain that that was a dead Garrosh. But look at the value that this camp got in the bot lane. So 2Calculated2Throw was very close on that Immortal, on that race there. And do we have Nature's Clone? We do, okay. Only 90 away, but their Shaman camp in the bot lane did get that whole fort while that was going on. So really significant value. The Ragaros, they had their Shaman camp out there as well, but it didn't quite get as much. And the Immortal gonna get cleared up pretty quickly here. And Garrosh there, again, very far forward, is making use of that combo, but taking a boatload of damage. It's really difficult to determine whether or not that's how do I want to put that? I don't want to say justified, but how much value they get out of that throw. If they get a throw onto somebody like Lunara, then yeah, that's or Ana, then it's a death, and that potentially is value. But they've actually got to get the kill, and they're not as likely to get that kill onto the Li Ming or the Mal'Ganis. So And it puts Ragaros at risk. Ragaros was very far forward there, so we'll have to check on that as things go on. Ragaros going pretty much into a standard build there. We've got the give him some pepper upgrade there, unstable compound for that slow to go well with the additional damage he does from Ace in the Hole. Check out that Li Ming orb, the orb build coming out and doing some work on that Chromie. With that sleep potential coming from Mal'Ganis, Jurgenderb's going to be looking for some of those big bombs, especially with the cooldown reset and the additional damage that's coming out from those level 4 and level 7 talents. But here comes the Immortal, and the team's mostly rotating up here. Thrall leaving himself down in the bot lane to catch that soak, push that lane up a little bit more here. And right now, you know, I guess I actually don't know. Yeah, okay. It just occurred to me when I can see both teams, the attack and defense thing doesn't quite look the same as when you're playing, so how do you know which one's going to be on which side? But I guess defense is blue and attack is red, I'm assuming, maybe? Seems to be the case, as halftime already picked up here by the side of 2Calculated2Throw. Now, speaking of XP, let's take a look at this, as there was a change to these XP globes, and probably not, like, BOE's probably one of two maps, the other being Braxis, that the XP globes will have, I think, a relatively minimal impact on the overall play. But it's still important to keep track of. And right now, the minion XP is almost exactly the same. The passive XP is slightly in favor of 2Calculated because, of course, they've gotten that bottom fort down. And then, of course, the hero XP. But even, you can see there's 1788 XP for heroes. That's not that much. That is 3 waves of minions. So it's very important to keep track of that minion stat. But Indomitable used there by Ragaros, getting a big stun onto 2. Corndog taking a load of damage, having to use Pyromania to get out safely. And there goes the Carrion Swarm, trying to maybe finish off the Blaze. Can they do it? They do, and Ragaros throwing... Oh my goodness, the reset's coming out as they get the kill onto Chromie. Ragaros was very low and he falls. Now Raynor following as well. A 4-for-0 with the ultimates here coming out from 2Calculated2Throw. And now they've got an Immortal pushing in the top lane. But instead of going with it, they're going to come to the bot lane. And this is a fantastic play. They do have a bit of a minion wave here. They had a Shaman camp as well. So this tower's already going down. They don't even need to worry about the Immortal. They can... especially with Raynor down here, they can get some value down here with this wave and just threaten it. They don't have to actually push too far into this to get value out of this play, because if they're keeping the heroes here, there's nobody left to defend this Immortal. Just the Blaze. Blaze doesn't have amazing Immortal clear, so this top fort is definitely going down. And with the push now, everybody's going to come up top. So let's talk about these ultimates. What do we have? Leaping Strike, Disintegrate, Thrall with the Sundering. We saw that Carrion Swarm, and of course the Nano Boost. On the other side, we've got the Combustion, Slowing Sands, Warlord's Challenge, Hyperion, and Starfall. So a lot of slowing opportunities there to give the additional damage to Raynor for that Ace in the Hole. So if we can see some of those combos, then Deep Fried Ragaros has the potential to really lock heroes down between that taunt and the multitude of slows. That's going to help out the Chromie to hit her Qs. Obviously the Raynor for the damage I mentioned earlier. And especially at level 20, Combustion becomes quite terrifying. 4-man rotation. Thrall is down below here, coming in from 2Calculated. The flank coming in from the Mal'Ganis here. Havoc trying to get in, but ultimately Lunara a little bit too far into that by herself. And this 4v3, while a lot of the health bars are going down on the side of the Ragaros, they already got the 1 kill onto the Lunara, and they might be able to get this kill onto Mal'Ganis with that big jet propulsion. But the movement speed from that Night Rush allowing Mal'Ganis to get out. Thrall able to pick up the siege camp while the chaos ensued above here as level 13's coming online. And of course, Li Ming going farther into that ore build, getting the glass cannon. And really, there's no reason not to. I mean, the enemy team doesn't have any, like, Genjis or Mayavs or people that can really get onto your backline and just, you know, destroy that Li Ming very quickly. Hey, thanks, Silvara, for the bits. Much appreciated. Glides in and gets thrown or out of position. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But the good news is they didn't take the band talent, so that's that's always a positive. All right, so the siege camp is going to be cleared up in the bot lane here by King Andrew, finishing that. So no immediate threat. This is possibly the first time during an Immortal phase that they haven't had a camp pressuring their lanes. But 5-man defense here from the Ragaros. They throw Mal'Ganis out. Doesn't want him in the backline, but a big Sundering coming in, and Lunara jumping over the Blaze. Timeout called by the Chromie, but she doesn't have enough time for that one here. The throw onto Blaze and a triple kill coming out, making a mega kill. 3 heroes died in the blink of an eye there. Giving those resets over to the Li Ming. And 2Calculated2Throw, leaving Thrall to finish the halftime. And again, making a really fantastic call here, you know, because if you win a fight, it's very important to get some kind of value. And where is that value? Most of the time, that's going to be in structures. It could certainly be in clearing lanes to gather more XP if you're close to a talent tier like 2Calculated is right now. But whenever possible, you want to make sure that you're getting value. So they leave Thrall back here, and he's doing obviously just fine in bringing this Immortal down, while the heroes on the side of Deep Fried Ragaros are down as well. And structures are permanent. They don't come back. So a nearly full shield Immortal, and we're going to have this siege camp. Now, the siege camp's going to go in the bottom lane. So, actually, I guess that's a bruiser camp. These are siege camps. Whatever. Shaman camp. Shaman Camp's going to go in the bottom lane, opposite of the Immortal. So, ultimately, we're going to see them rotating down onto this Blaze. Blaze, I believe, was in vision there. So, the big sleep. Pyromania coming out. He doesn't have Unstoppable, though, with that. So, trying to find a way to get out. Uses the jet propulsion. The team coming in here to defend against the 2Calculated push. Level 16 now online here. So, look for those massive orbs coming out from Li Ming. And X-Havoc going deep into the team. NyQuil, after being put to sleep, taken just a massive amount of damage. And now it's coming out onto Corndog as well. He's going to fall. That's a 2 double frontline kill here for 2Calculated. And with this couple of catapults and the Shaman coming in, they're going onto the core. Mal'Ganis just doing what he can to keep the rest of the Ragaros away from that squishy backline of Ana, Li Ming, and Lunara. GG. So 2Calculated2Throw, taking game number 1. Put up these stats here for you for a moment while I get information for game number 2. So that was BOE. Next game is going to be on Dragonshire. And this was also picked by 2Calculated2Throw. Show these stats. Thrall, the only member of 2Calculated2Throw to, in fact, the only member of either team to successfully avoid death in this game. I wonder if it'll let me... No, it doesn't allow me to pop up the things anymore. But ultimately, it did look like both teams were pretty even in the minion XP. Like with the changes here, I don't feel like one team had a significant, you know, benefit or better play in that regard for this round. Our next game going to be on Dragonshire. Now, this one certainly could have more of that minion. Like the minions are going to be more impactful here. So let's check in and see who we've got here. So it looks like we do have a change to the player pool. Hunter X coming in for Jürgen Derb. Several good reset. Yeah, absolutely. Those orbs, man. When Li Ming's popping off, she does some serious work. And it really helped, like, the damage coming out from Lunara, and, you know, the sleeps from Mal'Ganis really allowing Li Ming to have those opportunities for those, you know, one big orb hits and all of a sudden 3 people are dead. Let's see. Corn Dog is not in this game, so who did he get replaced? Pikey Burman? Pikey Baruman. I don't know. How the heck do you say that? We're gonna call him Pick. Get everybody? We got everybody? I think we got everybody. All right. Well, let's get ready here for game number 2 between the 2Calculated2Throw and Deep Fried Ragaros. 2Calculated2Throw currently up 1-0 in this best of 3 series. I suppose I can show you this page here so you can see what everybody's playing. Yeah, I see Li Ming come up on BOE often, and she does seem to get a lot of value in most games, so I don't know. Oh, I didn't. That's why I don't normally do that. All right, let's get those pop-ups going. All right, here on the Peaky Berman. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, on the left, we've got 2Calculated2Throw. Fear going to be playing the Falstad, Galdraeus on Deckard Cain, Hunter X playing Li Ming, Gen Confusion on Garrosh, and X Havoc on the Dahaka. Over on the right, Deep Fried Ragaros looking to even out the score. We've got Nyquil playing the Johanna, King Andrew on Malthael, what was it? Peaky Burman on the Rhaegar, Svenla on Sylvanas, and Proshak on, or Proshock rather, on Gul'dan. So not quite able to match the 14-second kill here that we had in the last game. But very close. The throw, the combo, and the damage was there. So our talents for this game. So Sylvanas already in the bottom lane here, clearing that out, getting these XP globes. So if we don't get a rotation from 2Calculated2Throw, that could be a quick boost of XP that they lose. But they're going to make it down here. So about those talents, we've got the Iron Skin talent, Hold Your Ground, giving Johanna rather the reduced cooldown and increased shields. We also have Echo Corruption, so watch that for that stacking Gul'dan Corruption talent. Scroll of Sealing. I'm sorry, Scroll of Identify for the Scroll of Sealing to give that stack and the armor reduction eventually. But we're going to have an invade here from Deep Fried Ragaros coming in on this siege camp and 4v4 right here. Now that being said, the heroes on the side of... Oh, what a good throw. That's actually... I mean, they lost a lot of people, but that's a really good throw because it means that the Deep Fried Ragaros can't actually take this camp as long as the siege giant is over here. And they get a kill out of it, no less. Possibly a second one? Doesn't look like it, but they do succeed in getting the camp. So, you know what? Great play coming out from Garrosh. I don't actually know that that was intentional. That might have been intended for a hero. And maybe that wouldn't have, you know, maybe it would have gone a little bit differently if so, but it's still fun to watch and worked out in their favor. They did actually get a kill out of it and secure the camp. So... But Garrosh and Sylvanas, that's a really tough matchup to go into. Just as annoying as it was in Warcraft. She's such a... Well, I can't say those words on stream. Big orb there hitting that Johanna, so... But anyways, the point of that was all to just to identify, you know, especially with this talent here, the additional spell power coming out from Sylvanas is gonna really just do a lot of work into that Garrosh. And he can't really do a ton about it, but Johanna a little bit far forward, pulling the heroes in close together, but they're still minions, so the towers aren't going to really get any damage there. But that's okay. I mean, they've got their one tower down to about 80%, so that was a pretty successful siege camp here from the side of 2Calculated2Throw. But with the Merc Queen, Sylvanas is empowering these siege giants in the mid lane here. I'm sorry, in the bot lane, and that's 60% additional damage that they deal. They're not quite close enough to hit the walls, so they're really just clearing up the minion waves. As Garrosh going onto this point, trying to get it to flip. But with a 4v4 in the bot lane here, just a lot of damage coming in once again into Garrosh. 47 armor. So 94% of his health gone. And now Fear making use of that flight, getting up here into the mid lane to help prevent Deep Fried Ragaros from getting this Dragon Knight. We haven't really shown much up here in the top lane. We'll try to do a little bit of that here as X-Havoc a little bit low between the X-Havoc, Dahaka, and Malthael. Let's take a look at that XP. And while we're at it, check in on these other lanes here. Oh, Dahaka's falling. Does he make it? Oh, it looks like he's okay. Just barely. Yeah, just 30 health there. Malthael probably cussing up a storm that he didn't secure that kill. But very, very close here. And once again, the channel is now set up and ready to go for Deep Fried Ragaros. Dahaka burrow charging, or sorry, not burrow charging, but burrowing up using that Brush Stalker to get up in that top lane. And as you can see here, Johanna popping that Unstoppable, very difficult to get off of this point. Not so difficult if you get a kill though, and that was really close. But check it out here. So we do see a big difference in minion XP so far. 9,000 to 7,400. So that's 1,500. That's a significant amount. But Falstad here looking probably like he's going to fall, as Fear going to be obliterated from the map. But the channel currently in favor of 2Calculated2Throw. So Deep Fried Ragaros not able to pick up this Dragon Knight just at the moment. Malthael going back, getting cleaned up there. Also, well, push bot hard might be what DFR is going for. Yeah, that's entirely possible. You know, that's a pretty, I don't want to call it a common strat. It's certainly is a not uncommon strat. A lot of teams do look for that opportunity with a variety of different heroes here. Now, Garrosh holding against the Rhaegar pretty decently. And Sylvanas taking a lot of damage from Fear, but Svenla able to get out. Rhaegar going in is going to fall, but Fear may as well. Yes, trying to get to that potion, not quite able to do it, as the Dragon Knight picked up by Gul'dan. So this is going to be the first dragon going over to Deep Fried Ragaros. King Andrew, going to be the first casualty of this Dragon Knight phase. As both teams now pretty close to equal in XP. Just a little bit over level 9, and 10's coming in soon here. Now, not as much setup necessarily for the Li Ming as they had in the last game with the Mal'Ganis. So certainly a little bit harder to hit those big wombos. But they do have a Warlord's Challenge and a Scroll of Sealing, so there is the potential. Just a little bit harder to land those to set them up. And level 10 is now available here for 2Calculated2Throw, soon for Deep Fried Ragaros. We've got the Stay a While and Listen, the Mighty Gust, the Warlord's Challenge, Adaptation for Dahaka, and Disintegrate for Li Ming. And Gul'dan here sitting in the Dragon Knight, getting very low, realizes that just need to pull back, not much more that they could do. Ultimately, they got some damage here in the mid lane primarily, so the minions are moving in, and we'll get some damage into that fort mid lane, but not quite enough to get real push value in the bot lane. Checking in here on the top, this is a very close matchup between the Dahaka and Malthael, as Malthael having to go back and tap now. Oh, big Horrify coming out from the Gul'dan, and that's going to be a Garrosh kill, separating and isolating Garrosh from the rest of his team, as Falstad able to sneak down, use some of those presumably bribe stacks, yeah, to pick up that bottom camp. And that Scroll of Identify very close. One more hit will give Deckard Cain the ability to start having some negative armor, and it looks like up here in the top lane, Malthael did finally finish that kill onto Dahaka. So leaving a little bit far forward there, trying to poke out, check in on that siege camp, and Rhaegar saying, hey, get out of here. And Johanna finishing that, really pushing him off. Double globals for 2C. Be interested to see how they leverage that. And there's a taunt onto the Gul'dan this time, getting a little bit of a payback there onto the Gul'dan as they do get the kill. The resets coming out for Li Ming here. Sylvanas was put to sleep, but she is going to get out of dodge. However, the big root coming in, not quite any follow-up, as I believe all of Li Ming's spells were on cooldown just at that moment. And Garrosh having to use the Unstoppable to try to get out, not able to do so. And so that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade directly for these teams. And it's a little bit harder here for 2Calculated because they lost their tank. And, you know, while Gul'dan does put out a lot of damage and he's got that great Horrify opportunity, not as big of a deal as losing your entire front line. So let's check into this. Level 13's coming up here. So we do have the Subdue talent and the Punish upgrade here. Roar doing that additional damage when she hits multiple targets. And really the Subdue is the real value. Giving that 80% slow for 2 seconds here. And Dahaka getting some revenge up here in the top lane with Li Ming with that rotation. Gonna be able to get that kill onto the Malthael and some damage onto this wall as well. That's ultimately getting that damage there is going to be rather beneficial, especially over time. And a big taunt from Garrosh, pulling those two in, getting Johanna and Rhaegar in close, but not able to get the kill. I think that maybe a Gust there could have gotten a Rhaegar kill, but Fear either not quite in position, maybe didn't have mana, or didn't feel that that was the right time. And Garrosh once again throwing the Johanna this time into the backline. Not really... kind of hard to secure that kill with the setup they have without getting some kind of lockdown, like a pre-cast root or something like that. So Johanna with that big health pool is going to make it out, but Brushstalker down in from the Dahaka, and big Wailing Arrow followed up by the Horrify, and Dahaka's in a little bit of danger there, getting feared right over into the fort and those towers. And now the channel is started here, but Malthael's going to stall it out, picking up that top lane control point. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, by the way, there are ultimates on the other side, too. For Deep Fried Ragaros, we've got the last rites. Of course, we saw that Blessed Shield and the Horrify earlier, the Wailing Arrow. Big sleep coming out from Deckard. Hits 3. Probably a little bit early on that taunt, but... oh, they almost had that Rhaegar, too. Big tongue coming out onto Svenla, using the Haunting Wave to get out safely. Using the follow-up Haunting Wave from that level 13, I believe, talent to get a little bit of damage and then get out safely through the bot lane into the area of their fort, so to be a little bit defensive. Who did I miss? Ancestral. We have the Ancestral healing for Rhaegar. All right, so siege camp being worked on here by the Ragaros. Currently, the bot camp has 3 seconds to go on it. Siege camp on the left, 40 seconds. Obviously, both bruiser camps up in the top lane are available here. We see the danger pings identifying that presumably that was 2Calculated, calling out that they had some people coming from above here. The super pots from Deckard Cain really allowing this to be just a full heal, basically. The throw onto Sylvanas, a big taunt, that could be huge. Oh, but the cleanse coming out, making sure that Sylvanas gets out safely using that Haunting Wave. And up here on the top, once again, the epic battle between two heroes with no health and no mana, and it's gonna be Malthael that wins this one. So much action taking place in this game, and it can be difficult to catch those really intense solo lane matchups. We'll try to catch that when they play up here again. But 3v3 in the bot lane. But let's check out what's going up here in the top, as Fear getting some value pushed in with this Bruiser camp is going to make it up to that control point. So both Ancestral and Stay a While and Listen were used here, as Garrosh trying to get control of this point. A big taunt. Oh, that's a huge taunt, interrupting the Haunting Wave, so Sylvanas cannot get out of this, and the root coming in as well, but Haunting Wave is already back up. Channel is available here, but oh, Fear walking right into the bush, using the Gust of Wind to survive. I thought for sure that was a dead dwarf. Oh, but he's... Oh, they don't know! Oh, man, I thought for sure the Gul'dan had vision on that. But I don't know about this one, guys. This looks to me like two dead frontliners. Well, okay, just one. But if you're gonna pick one, I mean, honestly, Ragaros is the one you want to get rid of. He's a lot of their control, displacement, and level 16s are available. And you know what? I can't believe that I'm seeing it again. How many games have I cast and Deckard Cain never takes this talent, and suddenly in the last, I don't know, month, Herodric's staff making its way into the NGS meta. And by NGS, I just mean people that play in NGS, because obviously NGS has only been going for a few days. And in the mid lane here, King Andrew picking up the Dragon Knight. I don't know that Dahaka's there fast enough, and not quite. So Dragon Knight is going to make its way down into the bot lane here, as Rhaegar and Johanna did a great job of keeping this control point. Checking on that XP total again, 32-1 to 32-7, so almost identical here at this late stage in the game. In fact, 32-8 to 32-9, so yeah. Very similar XP. These teams are doing either equally good or equally bad at soaking those minion globes. And a big taunt coming out here onto 2. There's the sleep follow-up. So Rhaegar getting put to sleep. Not quite able to get the kill. The stun from Ragaros did not get, just missed the tip. And of course, you gotta hit the tip. But Deckard gonna get taken out by the Johanna. So a 2-for-0 trade. Dragon Knight is pretty low here. It's only about 20% of its health, and Dahaka taking out that top lane. So while this definitely is in favor of the Ragaros here right now, Dahaka getting some value up top does mean that the next potential Dragon Knight could be a little bit easier for him to have that fight against Malthael. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, see how that goes. Because once again, this is anybody's game until that core goes down. This is not nearly as much of a potential comeback map as, say, a Towers of Doom, but a late game Dragon Knight can do some incredible work on a core. You get 5 more minutes into this game and a Dragon Knight can just easily burn through this bottom tower. And with a 5-man push, you know, go through keep, get a kill or 2, and you've got the game. So either team definitely in a position to make some work happen here, as both teams do have one fort down. Now, of course, this top fort doesn't. This is the death bridge. So again, probably the least valuable fort to take down from a finishing standpoint, but also probably the most valuable from a solo laner standpoint to help to secure Dragon Knights. It gives a lot more opportunity for the solo laners to secure that top point. But 2Calculated2Throw, recognizing that the team is up in the top, take over Deep Fried Ragaros, their bot lane. But on the same token, they lose their bruiser camp, possibly even the top fort. And level 20 is available here now for the Ragaros, so this is a double camp push up in the top lane. And if you're gonna do something on a death bridge, being up level 20 with a double merc camp is probably the best time you could do it. So we do have the level 20 upgrade there for the Blessed Shield. Oh, and there's the Wailing Arrow, gonna help to secure that kill onto both Ragaros and Dahaka. And that is a huge kill for them. Malthael making his way all the way to the top there. We're going to see, you know, at least one of these heroes, I don't know which one, head to the bottom. In fact, we might see all of them potentially and see Malthael head to the middle to pick up the Dragon Knight. It looks like that's what Malthael's doing, coming to the middle, but seeing that Falstad is up here in the top, they're not getting this Dragon Knight unless they actually commit some pretty decent resources to it, because there are 3 heroes up there. So where can they get value? There are no camps. They do have lane pressure in the mid, so they can certainly take down this structure. As Sylvanas clearing up the bot lane, making sure that their siege camp can't push in onto the keep. You see the ping. I don't know who was pinging there, but probably just a ghost ping. Level 20 is now available here for 2Calculated2Throw, so getting that Respect the Elderly, that's a absolutely massive upgrade. Probably just as good as the upgrade of Entomb, Buried Alive. We also have the Titanic Mike giving the additional target throw, but oh my goodness, good night to Fear. Falstad had no chance whatsoever. And now the channel is available here for 2Calculated2Throw, but being down a Falstad, they're not really in a position to get in there and snag that. So Malthael's going to head top, Sylvanas heading bottom. And if they're able to pick this up, this is very likely a game-winning Dragon Knight. Falstad's down for 40 seconds here. We do see 2Calculated2Throw rotating everybody up into the top lane. The challenge with that, though, is that they don't have enough time to get there and win the point to prevent the Dragon Knight. So they're just getting that kill onto the Malthael. Still, that's value. I mean, if they were going to lose the Dragon Knight either way, at least they got a kill out of it. And that means now that they'll be able to defend with a 5 versus 4 in the presumably bottom lane here. Silvara, if you want to go back and watch, go into the video at the top, and then you can actually see the video from whatever point. So you just have to find that. But yes, you can go backwards. It's just a little bit of effort. Big orb damage there coming out from Hunter X onto the back line here as Rhaegar falling very low, along with the Johanna as well. And Gul'dan is in a bit of danger here. That knockback, you know, if Garrosh had used Indomitable there, I think Gul'dan dies. But instead, it's the turn as Johanna coming in, pulling him in. The Horrify going to be hitting the heroes there, the Garrosh, and I think Falstad. And now what looked like a really solid position for 2Calculated2Throw is turning pretty well against them. Respect the Elderly coming out, but Sylvanas getting that cleanse from the Rhaegar. So a two for nothing trade, or did they get the kill? Let's take a look at good old Malthael here. Yeah, maybe not. I thought for some reason there was a kill in there, but... So 2 for nothing here. Deep Fried Ragaros really putting the work into 2Calculated2Throw on this game here. Some of these other level 20s, though, we did get Talrash's Element, so the extra damage for those big orbs. Bolt of the Storm for Sylvanas, one of the few heroes that still have Bolt of the Storm, and specifically titled Bolt of the Storm, that don't get some kind of other ability tied to it. And, of course, no one can stop death, giving the buyback to Malthael the opportunity to come back onto the map even after he's been killed. You'll just have to watch the video twice. Dang, that sounds terrible. That was best kill, but nice damage on Ming. Ouch. Yeah. So we've got a pretty solid push here in the bot lane with this Bruiser camp and the Siege camp. There are also some catapults, so this absolutely has to be addressed. And everybody's here except for Sylvanas, but Sylvanas is gonna stall out the backs, but I think she pays for it with, oh, the Bolt of the Storm keeps her alive! Holy cow, 200 health. I thought for sure that Sylvanas is dead, but she makes it out just fine and is gonna head up here and clear up the top lane pressure coming in. And with all 5 members of 2Calculated2Throw here, if Deep Fried Ragaros was a little bit better prepared in their positioning in this, they could have already gotten the Dragon Knight. But that's okay. They're going to get this camp in the top lane. And there's still some pressure down here. This'll die to minions. But eventually there will be catapults that go into this as well. And having that minion wave pushed so far back will allow the catapults to push up a little bit farther. And we're seeing this rotation up here from bot lane. We've got a bush gank set up. All of the ultimates are available. And it's going to be Garrosh coming in first. Blessed Shield was used here, and Garrosh getting silenced. The health bar is completely gone here. And that's a dead Garrosh. The Gust of Wind only hitting, I think, just the Malthael there. So, but getting that 1 kill out onto Garrosh, once again, Garrosh being the target you want to hit with that. If you can take him out, that's an absolutely huge value play. And this looks like... Once again, presumably, we should be able to get a Dragon Knight here for the Deep Fried Ragaros. Maybe? I don't know. The juke on the tongue. So no Dahaka tongue here, although it looks like adaptation was used there. So 2v1 now turning into a whole lot versus a whole lot. So one down from either side, both of the solo laners. Respect the elderly gone. And here comes the rest of the team for Deep Fried Ragaros. And of course, keep in mind too that Malthael's back. Li Ming gonna fall there. And with that 3 heroes dead, make it 4 heroes dead. Malthael's gonna go ahead and pick up this Dragon Knight, and that should be a march onto the core with this Dragon Knight. And it looks like that's gonna be the case. The heroes coming down, making their way down here. And, you know, this is one of those moments where it's like, okay, do you just take out this side wall, walk past this well, and go into the core? Yeah, you might take a couple of tower shots and whatnot, but, you know, that's an extra 5 seconds that you can be at the core with 3 heroes down. And it's right now, it's just Garrosh and Deckard. So big taunt and throw, but the Horrify going to go out, help to secure a kill onto Deckard. Garrosh not quite able to stall that out, and going back in. Not entirely sure what Garrosh thought he was gonna accomplish there with that, but you know, sometimes you just feel like you gotta go in and try. Maybe get another throw on somebody and, you know, stall things out. But that Dragon Knight was huge, and I don't think there was a whole lot to be done with it at that stage of the game. And with that, Deep Fried Ragaros are going to even up the score in this best of 3 series. All right, give me just 1 second. So Alpha had some teeth taken out, so I have to soak all of her food so she can actually swallow it. There you go. So she was mad at me because, of course, I had all this food that she didn't get to eat right away, and now I gotta give it to her now because it's all nice and soaked for her so she can actually have some food. And she is a big fan of food, let me tell you. All right, so that's the talents and the stats. Let's go ahead and get set up here for game number 3. So game number 3 is going to be on Infernal Shrines. And let's see, so it looks like we've got another swap for people here, so I think the rest of those are the same. That looks the same. It looks like Corn Dog came back in place of our solo laner there, King Andrew. You can't possibly be done. Oh, okay, she's not. So both of these teams have had really successful games. So I feel like these are very evenly matched teams, and I mean, we saw it numerous times, even in that solo lane between King Andrew and X Havoc. One of them would die, then the other would die, and then the other would die, and it was just back and forth. So, I would not be surprised if this was a lengthy game, and that we saw a very balanced setup out of this. But you know what? Let's put a poll out there. Let me just get into the dashboard here and update this. Oh, some of you might know the answer to this, though. If you already know the answer, don't vote. Who wins game number 3? C2T. All right, gonna go ahead and put that up for 2 minutes. That should be plenty of time. So again, if you already know the answer, don't vote. And I will go ahead and put us on the game screen so you can see these drafts. 1-1, game number 3 on Infernal Shrines. This was the map pick of Deep Fried Ragaros. There you go. I vote for Arrow. You know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get our teams introduced on the left. Winning the first game, looking to close out the series in a 2-1. We've got 2Calculated2Throw. Fear going to be playing the Junkrat. Jurgen Derb on the Ghoul. Dan, ex-Havoc, playing the Johanna. Galderes on the Anduin. And up in the top here, we've got Gen Confusion on Thrall. And on the right, Deep Fried Ragaros looking to get a reverse sweep here. We got ProShock on Orphea. Nyquil going to be playing the Diablo. Did I actually put that in? I don't think I put that in. I did. Whatever. Corndog on the Leoric. Peaky Berman? Is that what it was? On Stukov? And then Maiev going to be played here by Svenla. So quite a spicy combination potential coming out here with that Maiev Warden's Cage into an Apocalypse into a Silence with Stukov, even the Leoric Entomb, all of those things. And then, by the way, Eternal Feast for just massive damage. So a lot of potential coming out from that. On the other side, we're going to see the Thrall Roots. We got that Horrified this time on the side of 2Calculated2Throw as well. And Junkrat. I mean, Junkrat just does work. So depending on what heroics they take, we could even see a Falling Sword Light Bomb. Although with the comp that we've got, I don't know that that's necessarily the best way for them to go, just because, you know, you take your tank off the map and then you've only got Thrall to protect your lines. So we'll see how this turns out. I vote for Arrow. 1 for 1. So there you go. Both teams perfectly balanced, as all things should be, right? Can you type the prog you use for the hero players in... Oh, yeah. Check in with me after the game. It's part of the casters package, so I can send you the link and all that stuff. But we're going to have this invasion coming in from Deep Fried Ragaros just a moment too late. And now Nyquil in danger here, getting a lot of damage from that corruption. But is able to make it out. Yeah, it's called Soothsayer. It's a program that was developed, I believe, I'm assuming, by Falendrith. He's the one that updates it. And he's part of the NGS community as well. And it's used for a variety of different casting opportunities, like Heroes Lounge and I think Heroes Hype and stuff like that. And it's actually really... I can't tell you how much value there is to this tool. So, you know, if you or anybody out there is interested in casting... it takes some time to set up, but there's so much to be done here. Oh, what do we got going on here? So let's check in on that XP. It's early game, but it's easy to miss some minions. And right now it looks like maybe a few minions were missed on the side of 2Calculated2Throw, or it could just be a delay in catch. And probably just a delay because this wave up here in top is a little bit larger for Thrall to pick up. So 80 XP for each of those globes here, so that should catch them up pretty close. So yeah, it's actually, it provides a lot of the overlay information, the screens up at the top, and you may have noticed that we're running today in the ultra widescreen format, as both teams picking up their Shaman Camp to head out in the top lane. But normally if you cut off the sides there, the overlay fits within the standard aspect ratio, which is great. I mean, most people cast in that, most people play in that, but I like having the extra screen real estate for the off to the sides. But a 4v4 here in the middle as the solo laners up top dealing with those Shaman camps. And right now, 20 skeletal defenders so far for 2Calculated2Throw. Johanna stalling out that silence, but has no mana, so is very deep in here with no mana, but a lot of damage coming in onto the Diablo, just enough for that punish to slow down Diablo, and Junkrat confirming that kill. First blood almost 4 minutes into this game, certainly a far cry from the 14 seconds that we saw in game number 1. 31-20, and right now it looks like this is going to go over to 2Calculated as Deep Fried Ragaros doesn't quite have the same level of clear that 2Calculated2Throw has. Between the Gul'dan, the Junkrat, they can do a lot of work onto the shrines and clearing those skeletal defenders. That being said, and this is one of the disadvantages of this change, is that, you know, there's a lot of XP that was killed on the other side of that wall. In the previous format, you would get that XP just automatically because you're there. But with the Punisher knocking those out on the other side of the wall, certainly 2Calculated2Throw missed a few of those XP globes. And here comes the Maiev getting a big tether. Not getting any kills just out of it yet, although Galderais is very low, and it looks like that is going to be the first kill of this fight here. And of course, up in the top lane, Thrall did get the kill onto Leoric, so 2 kills to 1 so far in this game. Oh, and Diablo getting the charge stun and some damage out onto the Johanna. ProShock doing some work, but X-Havoc able to just pop that Iron Skin, get away. As mentioned earlier, though, here, the mana bars are fairly low on the side of, or at least for several of the members of the Ragaros. Of course, Junkrat completely out of mana, but he doesn't care. And Johanna also still out of mana, so mana bars at a premium this game. Let's take a look at those talents, because 7 is up, so looks like Junkrat is going into that mine build here, or rather the trap build. Getting the Chattering Teeth, one of the silliest talents in the game, I think, but also Sticky Wicket. So given that 2-second silence, which is really high value for heroes even like Leoric. So if Leoric comes in there, that's 2 seconds, he can't Wraith Walk away. Doesn't matter that he's got the potential to unstoppable if he can't do it. And Johanna following the Ragaros down in the bot lane here, picking up the whatever XP globes she could, although I don't think any of them actually died to her abilities. So she's just picking them up at the wall. Diablo, however, heading up into this camp. The trap, once again, does get that silence, and the concussion mine protecting the team here. Level 10's available for both teams. But the Warden's Cage not quite able to get the value that they're looking for here. Apocalypse coming out and Diablo charging in. Here comes a Riptire, but it got interrupted, I believe. Not entirely sure what did it, but it seemed to, maybe they just got the damage. I don't know. I missed it. Horrify going out just on the Orphea, but they're not in position to take any kind of aggressive action into that. So ultimately just the 1 kill. That being said, all the while, Thrall in the top lane. So getting a kill, down a player, not too shabby. Looked a little scary there for a little bit too, as 2Calculated2Throw did have some potential like bad positioning, like where, or maybe not necessarily bad positioning always, because of course Diablo repositions and things like that, but circumstances that were unfortunate for them that they were able to make it out of. 1-1 Solara. Just grabbing a quick drink, sorry. Oh, and it looks like Leoric, taking some damage from that Gul'dan, is going to fall eventually to the Thrall. Leoric will be back in 20 seconds, but this shrine is up and ready to go now. And this is an important one. This is a frozen Punisher. And being able to lock down the structures, especially with the wave clear that they've got, is huge value. But here comes the Riptire. Does hit a couple of them there, but Thrall getting caught by Diablo and flipped is going to be taken out. And that's going to be now a 5 versus 4 in the opposite direction. Leoric getting a 2-man entomb onto both Gul'dan and Junkrat, only able to use 1 leap of faith. And so that's going to be a dead Junkrat following up shortly. It is Falling Sword with the Light Bomb as well, so they did get a big stun combination there. And so Junkrat is able to get the kill onto the Leoric, probably from a Suicide Vest? I didn't actually see that. I was too busy looking elsewhere. And a silence onto Johanna here from the not the Leoric, the Stukov, as Diablo flipping Johanna into that silence. Yes, Suicide Vest. Okay, gotcha. Feared and Suicide Vest. There you go. There you go. So both teams are at full strength on the map. Currently 20 to 23. So 2Calculated2Throw could actually still make it up here and get this with their 5-man squad, 21-30. So the wave clear advantage definitely still in favor of 2Calculated2Throw, as Johanna diving in deep into the backline. And this is what I was mentioning earlier here. Johanna's by herself, and now the DPS of Deep Fried Ragaros are kind of going nuts over here. But it doesn't matter. They do get the Punisher here. Maiev just a moment too late to get out of that Riptire, as the tether and flip gonna work on Thrall, and once again Thrall going to the graveyard. Level 13's available here for both teams, and the Punisher jumping around outside of the walls, so not getting a whole lot of structural value there. Certainly not nearly as much as they could have if they were able to be a little bit farther forward. Instead, they got the kill onto the Thrall, so getting some XP, and of course, setting back the Thrall and the rest of the team's push. All the while, Leoric gathering some soak. So let's check on the soak values here for these teams. So a little bit of a bonus here over to the side of Deep Fried Ragaros. And, you know, this is the value of your solo laner at this point, right? Because Thrall has died a couple of times so far, and so has Leoric, but generally speaking, Leoric has a faster return time. And so, you know, I think a lot of that value is attributed to those kills, allowing Leoric to get into another lane to soak while the Punisher's up, or just soaking when they can because the team is away, or Thrall is, you know, currently in the graveyard. So this is where that value of the solo laner becomes kind of even more so important in this new environment than it was before. And it's a little bit more easily seen as well. So they're all getting the root onto Diablo, but there's not a lot of damage. The Shaman Camp doesn't do enough, certainly not to a high health target like a Diablo, and he's got maximum souls right now, so looks like Stukov was maybe rotating up and thinking that they could try to catch that Thrall, but without knowing where he was, even though he was right there next to them. Not able to get into him there. The Feral Spirit does miss the Orphea here, and it looks like Diablo's looking for that APOC flip, does get it, but Johanna coming in with the Falling Sword, not quite in position to get it, but never mind, they're happening too fast. The Light Bomb just barely missing there because of the knockback, and Orphea is still falling though, thanks to the damage here from the Gul'dan and the Horrify. So ultimately a 1-for-1 trade there. And Diablo just hanging out. Knows where the team is, keeping an eye on him. And once again, we see the split from Deep Fried Ragaros to come down here, focus on getting the soak. But with that split and showing that vision, that means that 2Calculated2Throw can get that fort down. And that's going to be the first fort of the game, 12 minutes in here, as level 16's coming up. And Johanna coming in after the Leoric here. A lot of damage from the corruption. And so Leoric's sitting about half health now. Still waiting to see what we're going to get out of Junkrat. And the level 16 when you're going with this build is always a little bit of an interesting selection. Do you go for those endless nades or the... I don't even know the names of the other two, but X-Havoc getting caught by the trap, ultimately having to use the Falling Sword to get out of danger. Gen Confusion using that Sundering just for the briefest moment of delay to keep himself alive. And now Leoric, the Mist and Tomb, but Maiev coming in, the Light Bomb deterring Svenla from getting that tether here. And Johanna deep in with 4 members of the Ragaros around. And the whiff on Crushing Jaws as well. You know, I didn't tell everybody what those talents were. Obviously you can see them here, but you know, pretty much most of them we talked about early in the game. And it looks like right now here Svenla is in a little bit of danger. Not quite enough follow-up from the team to get that kill though. So let's put that down and zoom out a little bit so we can watch this here. As Stukov's sitting in the bush there, in vision, they can see him. And Diablo getting the charge against the walls for this Johanna here, but it's right now, it's Leoric that's taken all of the damage, is going to Wraithwalk to try to help slow things down here, and the Falling Sword goes out onto the Stukov, but not before Thrall and Anduin are going to fall. Leoric does die in that process as well, so a 2-for-1 trade so far, and Deep Fried Ragaros looking for more. Oh, Diablo diving deep in there. Is going to get the kill onto Johanna, but sacrifices his own life and souls. But we'll be back on the map here in just a moment. It looks like this is going to be a Punisher, an Arcane Punisher, going over to Deep Fried Ragaros. Really well played. These teams are, again, feeling so evenly matched. And currently, 2Calculated2Throw is ahead in the structure game, 6-4. They've taken 2 out. This Punisher certainly could get this fort. In fact, I would be surprised if it doesn't, with their full squad here. And Maya looking for a tether, possibly a Warden's Cage, to see if she can't get that down. And here comes Johanna now as well. So first fort down for Deep Fried Ragaros. And with the Punisher sitting at about 30% health, they're going to go ahead and back away, start gathering some of these camps up, and get that map pressure going elsewhere in the lanes. And it did look like Leoric did have quick vision on this camp, so probably knows that this is where they are and what they're doing. And that's going to give the team the opportunity here to start working on their own siege camp, potentially even this bot camp, but instead they're going to get onto this tower. And again, I said it earlier, I mean, when you have the advantage, you want to make plays. And this is the structure damage that they want to get. That structure damage doesn't come back. It's at half health. And there's a 50-50 chance that... never mind, we'll come back to that. Diablo getting charged in, doesn't get the apocalypse though, and does get feared out of the team. Keeping in mind, of course, that Diablo doesn't have all that many souls, so he's going to fall. And the flailing swipe coming out, knocking back most of the team, but Johanna is right up in the face there, trying to slow them down with that punish and get the additional damage in, but not enough. And that advantage is going to give 2Calculated2Throw the potential to come down and get this camp. But keep in mind here in the mid lane, this is a big push. We've got a double siege camp pushing in the mid lane, getting that wall down. And in the top, Leoric going to have to go deal with the shaman camp coming its way. So this siege camp in the bot is going to get easily, cleared out by the 3 members of the Ragaros. But it looks like because of that, 2Calculated2Throw is going to come up and get this shaman camp. There's not a whole lot that can be done about it either. Level 20s are coming up soon for the side of Deep Fried Ragaros, and just a little bit ahead of 2Calculated2Throw. So they've got Diablo on the map. If they want to make a level 20 push, this is the time to do it, but they're going to clear out this shaman camp, because they'd have to find them very quickly and initiate and get kills within a matter of a few seconds, and that's just not been the case for most of these fights. Certainly the first couple of games, heroes were instantly obliterated by the Ragaros throw combos, but not so much in this game. But the combo potentials are there. So let's take a look at what we've got. We've got that Buried Alive for the upgraded Silencing Entomb, and 2Calculated2Throw is pushing here a little bit faster. Mentioned it earlier too, onto the bottom keep. So they had taken out that bottom fort. But that said, this is still pretty... It's close to even. Deep Fried Ragaros took out that top tower, so that means that this upper lane... Oh, there's the Buried Alive onto Thrall. Crushing Jaws coming out, but the Leap of Faith... Oh, the big 4-man Warden's Cage with a 3-man Apocalypse. Big stuns there. But no deaths yet, as mentioned. And here comes the Riptire getting that big, what is it called? Extra oomph. Huge cooldown reset on that, and Johanna getting the movement speed value out of that level 16 talent there on her Iron Skin. But it is going to be Thrall getting the kill onto Leoric here, and that's going to give Thrall now some cojones to go right back into this fight, using his level 20 Wind Rush, getting that Wind Fury and movement speed from that Wind Fury to keep chasing after the team here. So with a 5v4, they're going to push in. What else do we have? We have that double leap of faith, glyph of faith. So getting 2 charges of that helps the level 13 for the movement speed. Diablo not quite able to get the stun that he's looking for onto Thrall, but X-Havoc is about half health. And we have Maya away trying to clear out that mid lane, so that's all done here. Johanna getting the light bomb, but not in a position to use the falling sword, or not interested, and also not really able to walk up to them. So keep destroyed. 2Calculated to Throw still in the lead in the structure game, but what I was saying earlier is you know, they equalized bottom and top. One of them took top, one of them took bottom, but I think that works a little bit more in favor of the deep fried Ragaros because they were already, you know, down that lane. They were down a fort in that lane, and so equalizing in top means that it's a little bit easier for them to get this objective, and both teams now have equal value out of this objective because it goes into that keep as opposed to into a fort, and if they succeed in taking it, they likely get a keep and potentially win the game. So we talked about extra oomph, glyph of faith. We also have the haunt, so additional damage basically from the reduction in armor as Diablo finding himself a Junkrat, but the sundering coming out here. Warden's Cage as Johanna just pops the iron skin and walks out of it. Diablo getting the apocalypse onto Thrall here, but uses that wind rush again to get out. The Buried Alive looks like it's going to get this kill onto Gul'dan, and it does. Leap of Faith just a moment too late to secure the safe Gul'dan return there, and Anduin going in with the light bomb to get a stun there, I think, onto the Maiev. But right now there's pressure mounting at the core, so it's just the one catapult, I believe, for right now. I don't want to go away from the action to check, so it should clear itself out here pretty soon, but it will eventually mount up, and they have to deal with that. So 2Calculated to Throw can be relatively patient in this, especially knowing that they're halfway up. And it looks like, you know, Stukov throwing out those pustules, able to keep the team relatively healthy here. Pressure mounting in the bot lane. Also in the mid lane, though, for 2Calculated to Throw. They could lose that keep due to that camp here. X-Havoc, the only one immediately affected by the Buried Alive, gets silenced a little bit, but is able to walk out of it here. Rip Tire onto the Maiev, being patient about pulling the trigger, waiting until that Vault of the Wardens comes down so that they can actually get the damage here. Crushing Jaws is going to go out with the Sundering, but the Leap of Faith going to pull Thrall to safety. So once again, 5 versus 4. Gul'dan is coming up. Mid lane is gone. So now both teams have a path to victory if they win a strong enough team fight. Punisher or no. Diablo going deep in, probably a little bit too far, but is able to use that flip and charge to get out. And once again, here comes the Warden's Cage. Big 3-man, a little bit late on the APOC, but they do get the stun onto one. Horrify going out onto the Diablo helps to alleviate that pressure, but it's going to be Maiev, 600 health, barely getting out of dodge there. Big Buried Alive once again, and the Diablo charge helps to secure the kill onto Anduin, but it's going to be Leoric falling, Diablo now, as well as Maiev going back to deal with the pressure on the core here, and it's going to be Orphea falling. So a 3 for nothing, 3 for 1 trade as Diablo used souls to come back into this game. And thanks to those souls, Deep Fried Ragaros is still in a position that they can defend. They've got the Maiev, they've got the Stukov. It's going to be difficult, though. Lot of siege potential coming out from 2Calculated to Throw. So they... Oh, no, Diablo. Oh, buddy. Well, I think Diablo gets taken off the map. And this time, he's not coming back. That is a big, big victory for 2Calculated to Throw at this point, being down the Diablo for that full time, being down Orphea for another 20 seconds here. Yeah, they don't have their healer, but having these structures shut down by this Frozen Punisher, Anduin will make it here well before Diablo can make it back up. So this should be, they're getting a lot of damage onto these towers and this wall clearing up, but this should be a quick keep for the side of 2Calculated to Throw. And 30 seconds still for Diablo. So I think there'll be about 10 or 15 seconds once Anduin does get here. Jump there onto the Maiev, using the Vault of the Wardens to get out. Horrify whiffing. So no value out of that. And there's the Buried Alive once again. Crushing Jaws coming out, but pulled away thanks to the Warden's Cage. So I don't know that that actually was helpful. I think the Orphea combo missed because of that. But the Punisher taking out Maev here, and it's looking with the core at 40%. Like 2Calculated2Throw, if they right-click the score and just keep the damage going, that they will win, and they do. And yes, there were triple catapults actually down at the bot lane, as you can see here, the bottom left of your screen. So 2Calculated2Throw earning a 2-1 victory over Deep Fried Ragaros in the first match of the season, I believe, for both teams. And if I'm not mistaken, at least one of these teams is playing again tonight. They are. Deep Fried Ragaros is playing against Regen Anomaly tonight at 10:30. Currently no caster set for that. And I don't believe... Yeah, 2Calculated2Throw is not playing yet. So certainly the potential for some additional games, and that sounds like it would be a really good one to watch. I think that Regen Anomaly has started off their season pretty well. Deep Fried Ragaros put a lot of work in this game, so that's going to be quite a match to watch. Hopefully somebody's able to pick that up. 2Calculated2Throw is a strong team. They came up from the Division D last season. They performed well in the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational. I think they fell to Clouded Mines, which is another team playing later tonight. So that one does have a caster. It's me. So that's at 10:30. I'm sorry, at 11:30 Eastern time tonight. It's going to be a late night. But it's going to be interesting. Div C East and Div C West are really tight matches this season. And really going to be interesting to see how these teams work out overall in their series here. So that's it for right now. So it's 7:30. Our next cast, my next cast, is going to be at 9 o'clock tonight. It's going to be between Illa Dancing Queens and Die for Vision. Die for Vision, a returning team. They played in last season. In Division C as well. Illa Dancing Queens is a new team with some old faces, or maybe not old faces, some returning faces. We've got Born to Shine, Hooked on Phoenix, and I think Pina Colada is also a returning name. So some of those heroes, some of those players are familiar names in the NGS community, but definitely check those out, and let's see who's around for a raid. I think Tatsuki's on. I'm going to send you guys over to Tatsuki, if she is. Let's see. She is. There we go. Let's go ahead and start this up. Thanks, everybody, for joining me tonight for this replay cast between 2Calculated2Throw and Deep Fried Ragaros. Hope you'll join us for some more of the casting tonight. And, of course, the rest of the week, we've got casts on Friday, we've got casts on Saturday, and if there are any replay casts available, make sure you tune in on Sunday at 2 p.m. on the Nexus Gaming Series channel, twitch.tv/Nexus Gaming Series, for the NGS Rewind, which is a look back at matches that did not get cast earlier in the week, which there probably will be some of those. So, more like this. Thanks again, Silvara, for the bits. Really appreciate it. And for those of you that followed tonight, have a wonderful season, and we'll see you soon.